and welcome to Story Time with me, Liz. As always, it's lovely to have you with me today, wherever you are in the big wide world. How are you doing today? Oh, that's good to hear. I'm feeling good too, thank you very much for asking. Today we're going to be reading another traditional fairy tale. We know it's a traditional fairy tale because these stories have been told through generations and passed down from generation to generation. So if you ask your mum or your dad if they know the story, they probably will. And if you ask your grandma or your nanny or your nan or your granddad or your grandpa or your pops, they will know the story. And if you ask your aunts and your uncles, your cousins, your older brothers and sisters, they will know the story too because they've been handed down to us throughout the ages. And we also know it's a traditional fairy tale because it always starts with once upon a time. So today we're going to be looking at this one. And I just love the illustrations in this book. They're really funny, quite quirky, almost comic-like. So we've got a little girl and what she's wearing is giving us a clue. I wonder if you know who she could be. Yes, I knew you would. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's Little Red Riding Hood. And the title is up here, Little Red Riding Hood, because she's wearing a red hood. She's wearing a cape and a red hood. And who is trying to leap out from behind the bushes? Yes, the wolf, sometimes known as the big bad wolf. And can you see, his tongue's coming out of his mouth. I think he's salivating and I think he's feeling a bit hungry. So I wonder what's going to happen in this story. It's illustrated by Mike Gordon. And when I open up the tale, it says it's retold by Susanna Davidson because, like I say, it's a traditional fairy tale. So shall we start? Oh, I'm so excited. I'm going to fall off my chair. I think I'm ready now. Are you ready? Can everybody see the story? I hope so, because these pictures are rather fantastic. Here we go. Once upon a time, there was a little girl called Little Red Riding Hood. She always wore a bright red cloak with a bright red hood. I love my cloak. She lived with her mother in a cottage on the edge of some deep, dark woods. One day, Little Red Riding Hood's mother gave her a pot of Brussels sprout soup. Take this to your grandmother on the other side of the woods, she said. But remember the rules of the wood. I promise, said Little Red Riding Hood, and off she went. Skippity, skippity, skip, skip, skippity, skippity, skip. Oh, what a lovely day, said Little Red Riding Hood. But who's following her? That's right. Good morning, Little Red Riding Hood, said the woodcutter. Little Red Riding Hood waved. Good morning, woodcutter, said Little Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood walked deeper and deeper into the deep, dark woods. It grew darker and darker. So Little Red Riding Hood didn't see the wolf waiting for her on the path, and the wolf didn't see Little Red Riding Hood either. And Little Red Riding Hood stumbled straight into the wolf. Ow! Ah! Oof! In the middle of the path? Asked Little Red Riding Hood. I nearly spilled my grandmother's Brussels sprout soup. Oh, sprouts, yuck. Wolves only eat juicy red meat. Little Red Riding Hood had forgotten the rules. Don't talk to wolves. The wolf was just about to gobble her up, and when he heard a brilliant idea. I'll eat Little Red Riding Hood and the grandmother. So, where does the dear little granny live? Asked the wolf. In the cottage on the other side of the woods, said Little Red Riding Hood. The wolf raced to the cottage and knocked on the door. "Come in," said the grandmother. The wolf leaped into the room and gobbled up Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother in 2 seconds flat. Bony, but not bad. Then he pulled on her cap and jumped into bed and waited for Little Red Riding Hood. What a cheeky wolf. Soon there was a knock on the door. "Come in," snarled the wolf as softly as he could. Little Red Riding Hood looked at her grandmother and then looked again. "Oh, Granny, what big ears you have! All the better to hear you with." "Oh, Granny, what big eyes you have! All the better to see you with." "Oh, Granny, what big teeth you have! And all the better to eat you with." And in one bound, the wolf was out of bed and gobbling up Little Red Riding Hood. "Delicious," he said, and then fell fast asleep. He slept and he snored very loudly. "What's going on?" wondered the woodcutter. "He's eaten the poor old woman," realised the woodcutter. He picked up some scissors and he snipped open the wolf's tummy. Snippety snip, snippety snip. And out popped Grandma and Little Red Riding Hood too. Quick as a flash, Little Red Riding Hood picked up some stones and piled them into the wolf's tummy. When the wolf woke up, he tried to sneak out the door. Rattle, rattle, rattle. But the stones rattled and rattled and rattled inside him. "Oh, now everyone can hear me coming, and I'll never catch anyone," cried the wolf. "Exactly," said the woodcutter. "You'll just have to eat vegetables instead," said Little Red Riding Hood. And the wolf was never able to eat another person. "Oh, Brussels sprout soup!" And as for Little Red Riding Hood, she never ever talked to a wolf again. We've come to the end of the story of Little Red Riding Hood. Well, Little Red Riding Hood was lucky. She had a lucky escape there. She forgot the rules of the wood. She did start to talk to the wolf and she ended up inside his tummy. But luckily the woodcutter saved the day. And now the wolf is eating vegetables. But vegetables are very, very good for you. So he's going to be a lot more healthier now, I think. Thank you so much for listening to my story. I do hope you enjoyed it. If there's any books you'd like me to read, do pop them along in the comment section below. We do try and find some of the books that you've been asking for. But until we meet again, remember, stay safe, stay alert, wash those hands, really important, and keep smiling. Bye for now, take care.